That sumbitch is tough as woodpecker lips.
The Southern Saturday Podcast.
Oh, well, come on, son. You couldn't whoop a pitcher of meat.
It's like giving your ears a big glass of sweet tea.
Come on, boy. Shit.
Drink up and enjoy.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Southern Saturday Podcast. This one's going to be a special one because I got dual guests. I got Mr. Jay Dubz and Mr. David Lynam, and I'm Justin Wagner.
I was about to say it. Damn it, you beat me to it. I was about to say Justin Wagner. He doesn't even appreciate that. He didn't know where that's from.
That's a callback.
Ever since then, I've started.
It is a callback.
The more famous the person, the funnier it is on X5 when I introduce them wrong. I just want to see if they'll go, hey, it's not that, it's this. Because I have a messed up last name. My whole life, I've just ignored it.
I can imagine. Mine is the same thing, but it's never Wagner. They always say Stringer or Stanger.
That's good. I'll put that sting on it.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about keeping Stanger, but if y'all don't know, when I was on X5 podcast, that's how David introduced me, was Justin Wagner.
Yeah, I've seen the episode.
He didn't let it slide either. I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah, but it wasn't one of those like, actually, sir. Like it wasn't an ego thing.
No, the rest of the cast calls me out. They're like, say it one more time. And I'm like, oh shit, that means something. That means I've messed up something. Dude, the name of your podcast is, if somebody, J Dubz has a lisp, say it, J Dubz.
Southern Saturday Podcast. It's super.
It's really sassy over there.
It would be great if Herbert the Pervert is in the Southern Saturday Podcast.
These boys are silly.
Dude, I like your Halloween decorations out front. They're not aired up right now.
Right.
My mother-in-law went around the neighborhood one day, and of course, when people are at work, they don't plug them in, and so they're all deflated. And she goes, "It's just a shame the kids in these neighborhoods are just pieces of crap." She thinks they're going around stabbing them with knives. They're not plugged in.
That's absolutely hilarious, dude. There's this one house in our neighborhood. They always put up. They get the best inflatables, but it's like they don't know how to do them. Every day you ride by, they're laying a different way.
Oh, they don't tie them down?
You have got to learn how to tie these fucking things down.
Dude, my eldest of the cousins below me gets arrested in high school because him and
This
his
is a rough
buddies.
start. The eldest of the cousins below you.
So I have like
your oldest, youngest cousin.
yeah. Let me break it down in Alabama.
No, he is real country,
So
dude.
your wife.
No, it's on my mom's side. Anyway, the cousin below me gets arrested at his senior year in high school because him and his buddies decided, and I would never have thought to do this. Our big prank was eggs and toilet paper.
Yeah.
Jumps out of the back of his SUV and like Rambo stabs. Remember the big globe Christmas blow up? It had it was like a big snow globe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dives on this thing and like double knives and stabs it. The woman, it's like a 70-something-year-old woman, is like watching out the window, just mortified because she just sees this gorilla of a kid running her yard with 2 kitchen knives and takes it out, and they take off. And the cops came and arrested him at school, and I'm just like, man, I've done
How did they find him though?
He was on his way to school.
Word of mouth.
Small town, baby.
It's
You
the
can't do
neighborhood
nothing.
right by the high school. It wasn't like a
Local
long
dickhead.
jump. Yeah. We got his tag number.
Yeah, dude. Did y'all ever do the things where you set the deer up or it looks like they're fucking? We used to do that all the
Reindeer,
time.
man. We know all about the reindeer.
We were going one night and somebody, like, we took this girl and like she goes out there to do it to the deer, but their lights ran through the deer and came off their legs and like went to a tree or something like that. She's like, "Has anybody got anything to cut their lights with?" I was like, "We're not here to fucking ruin Christmas. We're just here."
We're here to be pieces of shit and tell
Yeah,
everybody.
like, they're just supposed to wake up and see the deer fucking. Not everything's ruined.
Turns out you can burn the neighbor's house down with a well-placed snip of the scissors.
Dude, we went, you know how but like you said, kids do eggs and rolling and all this
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
I remember we went in high school and this girl gets out of the car and I look over there and she's spray painting the side of this girl that we go in school with's car. And everybody's like, "Whoa, like what the fuck?" Like and she's like, "Oh no, this is like fake spray paint." Like the cops came and everything and like we thought she was going to jail. She had to take a rag over there and like I haven't seen it since. She had to go prove to the cop that it would come off the car.
She's over there the whole time like, please come on, please come
But
on.
we were all sitting there like, what the fuck's Brittany doing?
Going to jail.
Yeah, that's what she's doing.
Brittany's about to get a teardrop tattoo.
It's
That's
always
what.
Brittany too. You know what I mean?
If not, it's Sniffany and Methany. Those are the two.
Methany.
Have to deal with these bitches on a constant
And
occasion.
her brother Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew. They're Methodists, real good people.
What have y'all been up to? Y'all got the comedy break in now.
Dude, we have, without realizing it, we've become like the top booker in the state as far as volume of shows. People
Is that
ask,
true? That's awesome.
I mean, it feels like it. There's.
If you're a no-name
Did I just give myself a pat on the back?
if you're a no-name
It
comic,
feels like it.
we have the show for you. If absolutely no one knows who you are.
People all over the country, when I go and do comedy, ask, how's the scene in Alabama? And I'm like, we have great comics. Now, do we have a lot of people that care about it? No, we do not. We do not have a lot of people that care about how good the comics are. But people that come visit our scene from out of town are like, wow. And it just at an open mic, they'll pop in and then we're like, y'all got like 7 guys that are unbelievable. I was like, yeah, this is not even half of the ones that showed up tonight. They're
Yeah.
not even here.
Well, it's still better than Mobile. Like, Mobile's one of those places where somebody asked me the other day, like, you want to do a show in Mobile? We'll book you a show. And they're asking, like, how many seats we want to sell. They're like, we can do this place for 100, or we can sell out this place. It's got 300. I was like, this is Mobile. If we sell 100, I'll be shocked.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's put it in a telephone booth and be happy for what comes in,
How do you feel about 7 inebriated guests and 4 sober ones?
exactly. I was like, you're just going to end up losing money, I guess.
I have got the audience for you, sir.
Dude, Mobile, Mobile is the worst as far as in the state goes. It's.
I think everybody thinks that about the scene in the beginning, though. Because I mean,
we can't keep anything. We can't even keep a fucking baseball team. Like
Well.
nobody goes to support it.
yeah.
We
Yeah,
lost
that's
the
the problem.
hockey team, everything.
Yeah, but you could just as easily, Justin, go out to Austin, Texas, and just see how quickly you're the small fish in a big old pond.
I'm
and,
sure.
And you're just lost in a sea of open micers. I've been out there before, and they were like, "Do you want to go up? Are you just wanting to go up?" I go, "No, I don't care to go up in Austin. If I could go up on a show, that'd be great."
Mm-hmm.
But they were like, "We could." I went and signed up for a mic when I didn't get picked on Kill Tony, and I was 31st. All right, the mic started at 11 p.m. What time do you think they're getting to that 31st comment?
Dude, about 4 a.m.
And there were only like 3 patrons in the place. I was like, "Oh, we got this scene at home. I can just go back home and do a set in front of my mom if I want, because that's what
Exactly.
So there's 2, and they talk about the metropolis of Austin and how awesome it is for comedy. It depends on what prism you're looking at that scene through.
Right.
Because if you're looking at it through an open micer, you're just lost. If you have no connections,
Yeah, it's a great scene for somebody who's a well-established comedian.
or knows one.
Right.
And then
exactly.
somebody that's going to hold your hand through the scene, man, you could get lost out there, dude. I wanted to take it to the house when I was like,
I wrote one of those guys out there one time. I'm not going to say any names or anything. I'm not even going to say the club. And they were like, don't even call me if you haven't been doing comedy for 10 years. So I was like, what the fuck does that got to do with anything?
I would think 5. I can see somebody saying 5.
Well, my thing would be send me a tape and we'll just see if it's good.
You might be a savant.
We'll just see how it is.
Yeah, that's what I've tried. I'm trying to record every set so I can send it to people. Because if you show them a set, you don't have to beat on your chest
Exactly.
and be like, I'm
'Cause I
great.
hate talking about myself anyway.
In a band, here's what we did. In the beginning of the band, we had fake representation. We would act like we'd set up an email address, a fake booking agency, and we would represent ourselves as somebody else's name. Because if you're in the band, you're always going to be like, we're the greatest.
Right.
We always don't think our shit stinks, but somebody representing you always looks better.
And they always, like, your representation will always get you more than you would have got yourself.
Absolutely.
Even if it's you behind closed doors and nobody
Right.
fucking knows, that you'll have a better chance. Same with comedy.
We started to do that with Comedy Breakout. There was a Zach Matthews was going to be our representation, but as soon as we're about to put this into play, I get a hold of one of these like elder
The
comics.
real Zach Matthews called you.
He's like, "How you using my name, boy?" No, I literally like Ralphie May's got one. There's a couple other comics that have kind of a Bible to comedy thing where they're not doing a special. It's like a sit down and they're just educating people. And that was one of the things that was referenced is like, man, whatever you do, don't do that. Like, don't fake represent yourself to get.
Oh, that's
favors.
bullshit.
And I'm
but
going.
I promise
how
you,
would
you can do
anybody
it.
ever fucking know?
I got a big
you
mouth.
could do
It'd
it.
probably be my fault. I'd be like, oh, remember that time?
Yeah, I mean, don't tell anybody, but
Unfortunately,
do
you can't debate it with Ralphie, but I think he's wrong on that one. You can definitely fake represent.
yeah, I mean,
No, it wasn't him that said it. I was just saying, like, one of those type deals, because that's my favorite one to reference to, especially new comics, is, man, go watch that Ralphie May. It's like about an hour and 47-minute long thing. He's at the Comedy Store. He just sits down and just puts on a clinic on comedy. And it's,
You see memes in comedy all the time that, like, unless you're prepared to never make it,
yeah.
quit right now.
I posted that like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like that, you read that and it sinks in. You're
is
like,
that you that said that the other day?
Well, I
Yeah.
shared, it was not mine. I shared it.
but
Yeah.
it is something. If you think about that, you're like, oh, I have to be happy with just things staying how they are right now for the rest of my life
Yeah,
and
for
still
sure.
enjoy it.
You're right.
And I do. Like making it to everybody's a different thing. It's relative.
Sure.
What's making it to you? I just like to make a room full of people laugh. I don't care if it's a 40-seater, 10-seater. I don't care I don't care if I ever do an arena.
No,
Making it to me is being able to provide for my family and just tell jokes in living rooms if that's all it means. You know, I don't care. Just a
Yeah,
hot
that
room.
one, I feel about the same way. Like, I just want to be able to go out there and just have like confidence in myself. Like, I'm about to fucking crush, even if it's for 30 people.
You
Like,
have to have that confidence.
Yeah, like you just know, or just I tell you what, one of the things that is hard, like the hardest thing for me starting out till now has not been like working on time or anything like that. The hardest thing to me is when you do get one of those rooms where like nobody shows up, you're in front of 15 people.
Yes.
To keep your
Pivot.
confidence through the set.
Feet in the sand
That's the hardest thing to me.
It is, and that's where you see the true test of a comic is when it's going bad and there's hardly anybody in there. How do they pivot? How do they react? Do they get nervous? Do they lock up? Do they walk off
They
the
start
stage?
talking fast and leave.
Yeah. That's where you see a seasoned guy where you can tell, oh, he's done this so many times in front of empty rooms. There is no rattling this dude.
Yeah, and those are one of those times where like if you're in there and you're watching a seasoned comic do his thing, you're like, oh, this is a different thing that we're watching now. This is a fucking.
He's
guy
confident. He
who
knows
doesn't
he's going to
care
get the.
that nobody's laughed yet.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, he knows he's going to get to 30 minutes. He knows he's going to get to an hour. He can just sit through this. Yeah, that's speaking of. Here's a good question for you. You made the leap of faith of quitting a great job.
Yeah,
How's that going for you?
amazing.
Is it really?
Yeah, like no regrets, no looking back.
That's great.
It's unbelievable. Like I couldn't be happier.
I know it's going well because when I first got here, he informed me how he had already bought 50 bags of beef jerky. And I'm like, I don't even have 20 bags of beef
Right.
jerky money. It must be going swimmingly.
Yeah, maybe you need to get your act together, Jay.
You've got power on and cable, and you got 50
And 50
bags.
bags of beef
Jesus
jerky.
Christ. Speaking of which, this stuff's amazing.
Shout out to Andy Nguyen and her mama. That's if y'all don't follow Andy Nguyen, she's a Vietnamese MMA fighter, and she's amazing. Her mama makes the best beef jerky I've ever had.
I was a vegetarian before I got over here. He gave me one piece of that. I'm
Dude,
going
yeah,
hunting
you look
tomorrow.
like a vegetarian. You fat tub of shit.
like a fat cokehead. What you talking about?
Goldfish are a vegetarian,
Yeah, a whole box of them.
and Doritos are vegetarian.
Well,
I always think that about like vegetarian people. It's like, yeah, but like all the really shitty junk food is still well within what you can fucking eat.
so what you're really saying is you just don't want to know you killed the thing you're eating.
You
Is
can
that what it
still
is?
have a donut.
Yeah, for sure. You and your social media is going greater than ever, right?
Yes.
Dude, when you square up is when you're about to fight somebody and you dance on your feet and square up. I don't know why that owns me so much. I almost don't even listen to what you're saying. It's your body language when you get all shaking at the camera, dude. It owns me so bad.
That one I did the other day where I ran down that hill.
Yeah. It looks like you got there quick, man.
Well,
I was like,
did.
he's way out of frame, and then bam, you're right there.
I gave it my all.
I
Like,
can
when I got-
He said, that's your 440 right there. I'm telling you.
dude, I gave it my all. And when I got to the end and Courtney like cut it, I was like, God damn it.
Yeah. Please tell me you got that cut. I ain't got another one in
My
me.
knees, dude, my
She's
knees were
just,
killing me.
she's just standing there with her own personal phone, like, yeah, I got that cut.
That was brutal. Like that hurt.
You shoot all that with these cameras?
No, see, these are just for the pod. because
Daddy Warbucks.
they're
Dude.
fancy.
50 bags of beef jerky.
Yeah.
Not 10, not 20.
There's a tag. He's never done a 3-person podcast, just so he's got a tag hanging off of one of these. He's gonna go return it when
I was about to say, this
Like a starter
motherfucker's got
cap.
the nicest studio that I ever seen.
Hey, yeah, trust and believe that studio was not paid for by me. But yeah,
Shout out to X5 Podcast.
dude, let me tell you something. It's about to get totally revamped, and there's no telling what he's going to put in there. But
Before we get to that, you did the same thing. You stopped
Oh,
something
yeah.
to chase your dream.
yeah,
How's
yeah.
it going?
Oh, you know, what people say to me all the time, you've been on stage all your life. Comedy wasn't that big of a switch for you. I was like, no, though. Lots of big switches happened. Right? For one, I was making a ton of money playing music, which was, I was so lucky. I mean, how many people pursue music and never make a dime at it?
Sure.
I paid my whole house for it, and I was used to doing it in front of people. Like being on stage in front of people, I played in front of 50,000 people in Birmingham at city stages and not even slightly been nervous. But man, when there's a room full of 5 people, 3 people, 2 people, just comics,
Yeah.
I get nervous as like it's like I'm on the Tonight Show or something, man. It's like
It's
gives me
terrible.
the biggest nerves ever. Big, huge crowds, I know I'll get them because all you have to do is get 10% of a 200 cap room.
Yeah.
All you got to do is get 10% of them. It sounds like you're murdering in the place.
Of course it does. And they're not laughing. They're just clapping and yelling woo.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I used to do, nobody knows this except for people that I guess knew me from before, but I used to do music as well, but it was just acoustic and singing.
Right.
And I never got nervous doing that. Like even if I was playing some gig at a fucking restaurant, like it just wasn't ever anything to get nervous about.
Did the guitar like it was like a safety blanket for you?
I don't know. I just felt like I've never been to a restaurant and watched somebody do. This is what I had in my head. I never watched somebody get up there and sing while I was eating my quesadilla, and I was like, "This fucking guy sucks!" Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not that passionate either way on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just don't, you know. And even if I went and did like a little show at like a bar, like all you do is play something that everybody's gonna sing along to, and then it's just not. It wasn't. I never got nervous doing that, but like doing comedy for a mostly empty room with people just going,
Yeah.
fucking nerve wracking.
It's amazing how you could deliver the same jokes with the same passion and not get the even close to the same reaction.
Dude.
Like 2 shows in a row, 2 nights in a row.
Yeah.
It's the difference between, man, something about, and I've had to, my mother has been to almost all my shows, and she watches me, and I was like, do you understand now the difference between a hot room and a cold room? Like there's just something in the air. You can't put
Everything
your
matters.
fingers.
Who you follow matters. What those people did earlier. Did somebody get on stage before that sucked? And
Right.
even the people that start the show, if they're just getting up there to welcome everybody and they suck, you're just like
You're digging out of the hole.
feel energy leave in a little bit.
I got a question for you about that. So we have this debate a lot with other comics too, and I love to see the dichotomy in answers. So in the perfect scenario, do you prefer to follow a bombing or a killing?
Killing 100%.
Me too.
Yeah. You
I'm an energy guy. I love to ride the like.
Exactly.
I don't get intimidated. Like if a guy goes out before me and just destroys,
it gets me pumped.
right? Like I'm like, fuck yeah, let me ride this wave. But I know people that don't. Like they're like, oh crap, I gotta follow that. Like it's a weird thing for me because I would way rather follow that.
I tell you what I do. If I get up there and somebody's really crushing and it's like they've got the crowd pumped, I'll take something that I do that's really animated my set and probably move that up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if there's going to be something where I'm doing a lot of action, a little high energy, yelling or whatever, if they just crush with some energy like that, I will most likely probably move that up in my set a little bit.
For you to be doing comedy for the amount of time you have been, to have that mental acuity, man, that's good.
Hey, I appreciate that.
I'm really proud of you for going with acuity. When did you bring that word into your dictionary?
That's one of those words where when he said it, I just nodded along.
It's like I don't even know how to spell that.
Clue what it means.
I'm Mr. Accountability guy. I'm going to need you to spell that on camera.
I have hard pass. I'm a good speaker, terrible speller.
I feel like he's sat in your driveway for 30 minutes and he's going to crowbar A, B, and C
It
into
was
this.
one of those word of the day toilet paper acuity.
I spell so bad, autocorrect's like, I don't know.
Yeah, dude. Every now and then I will write a word like that where I'm like, well, fuck, figure out what I mean. I don't know what I mean.
I've even tried speaking it out to see what it'll do. iPhones are a powerful device.
Dude, did y'all ever have one of those words where like you got way too old before you were like, that's spelled like that? Like,
Oh, yeah. Guaranteed.
like facade. I was like, the fuck? Facade?
yeah, yeah. Guarantee fucked me up for the longest time. Is that where the U goes?
Dude, just last year I put up some furniture for sale on Facebook, and I spelled it Chester drawers because I thought it was Chester, not Chestive. Chester drawers. And
I can't
by the
make
way,
fun
there's
of you
other
for
ones.
But that's one of those ones
That's
where
a
it's like,
Southern
get the
thing.
fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I went and looked. There's other people spelling it like that too, so
exactly.
it did feel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Old creepy dude on Family Guy would probably call it a Chester drawers.
Drawer in general. Like, so many people spell that DROOR. Like,
Really?
Oh, I've never seen it spelled like
oh,
that.
yeah.
Well, we really are down in the
Well,
nutsack
I was about to
of
say,
Alabama.
you're at the bottom now.
We're in the right testicle of Alabama.
That's what I say. It's a nut sack. Like, you're in the nut sack.
I've lived down here before, dude. I lived off of Hazel Street off of Spring Hill Avenue over there.
Oh, fancy part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't
Mr.
that
Mountain
fancy.
Brook over here.
No, you don't know nothing about Mobile.
Trustwheel.
Are we close to Scary? Are we? They
When I
still
was a
call
kid, I lived in
Saraland
Spencer.
Scaryland?
Scary land, yeah.
Scaryland?
Satsuma's still Slutsuma.
Oh, is it? I never heard of Slutsuma.
That's where I went to high school.
It's not the first time I got crabs, though. That was at a carnival.
I living down here on the coast and then like not eating seafood. It's just one of those things where like everybody that you crabs put it
Yeah.
in my mind. Yeah, everybody that I talk to is like, "What the fuck's wrong?" I'm like, if you said that anywhere else, they wouldn't care. For whatever reason, you
I
live
got
in
crabs
here.
at Dirty Dick's Crab Shack. Like,
Dude, I saw somebody put up something the other day, and it was talking about Southern barbecue joints and their T-shirts.
Yeah, dude.
It was like, I got my hog sucked off at Big Porker's Barbecue. They're all like that.
Yeah, if you're gonna fuck with merch in one of those restaurants, you got to go big or go home.
Exactly.
came this close to opening a restaurant. This is not a joke. I'm a big fan of smoked meats, and there's no funnier way to say it than the smoked meats.
It's pretty funny for a bisexual guy to tell you
Yeah.
that, isn't it?
Way to just put my business out there, David. Jeez.
Oh, you're not out of the closet yet? You talk about it on
It's
stage
just
every
a
night.
beaded curtain. It's not even doors. I just come and go as I please.
A beaded curtain.
But that was gonna. So I had a name and everything. Black Sabbath. That was going to be it. And then if it did well, I was going to open up a soup themed restaurant and call it Motley Stew.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if it did do well and Ozzy was like,
Yeah, absolutely
no
not.
fucking way?
It drives me crazy people that overthink the name of their business. Like, do you tell you who's bad about it? Hair Force.
Oh, yeah.
Curl up and die. People that overthink their sheer genius. Like every time I see one, it just makes my blood boil. I don't know why. They're just like trying to think of a But every time I see one like
wordplay.
that, yeah, I feel like they all are the names of a place that you would make fun of somebody for going to. Like, oh, you got your shit done over at Hair Force, dude.
Air Force One.
Yeah.
The one that broke me, this dude in Montgomery wanted to open up a little like bar restaurant at one of the golf courses, and he wanted to call it the Rusty Putter. And I was like, Harry, you don't want to do that, buddy. He's like, well, why not? That's a good name. And I'm like, yeah, but that's also a gay term for a poopy dick. Like,
I've never heard of that.
Never
Now
heard
you
of it
have.
either. Never heard of it either.
See, now you're out of the closet. You were going to come out anyway. You just can't shut your mouth.
You haven't even put on my tap shoes, David.
I thought of a great, before Top Golf was a thing, I thought, man, it'd be cool to have like a driving range where hot chicks like Hooters bring you beer, like pitchers of beer, call it the drink and drive. And then I never pursued it, and nobody ever did it. I still think it might have a shot at
Well, not now. It's stolen.
I was about to say, here's your Team Top Golf.
For the millions
Team
and
Top.
millions.
You play golf?
Yeah.
I do too.
Not well.
I
but
seen
I'm
it.
like,
I seen his Callaways out there in the
I
driveway.
could, yeah, I did too. I could have gotten. It's hard to believe this, but I could have gotten a scholarship playing golf when I was in high school. But I was not a smart man. My grades were like terrible. I was so stupid. In
See,
school.
what's so weird is like down here, if you played golf in high school, you were a fucking loser.
Oh, dude, I was a fucking loser.
It's
I
not-
forgot to leave that out. Definitely couldn't get laid off a plane in Hawaii.
Looking back, like, yeah, but like I watched my dad and them play golf, and I was like, you didn't think I should learn that? Like,
Yeah.
I wish I wouldn't have played golf when I was a kid.
Oh, that's what my dad told me. He goes, "You're going to get made fun of, son, but just know this. Know this. As soon as high school's over, they'll all be calling you, wanting to play golf with you. That's where all the deals are closed. They're all closed out on a golf course. It's where all business deals go down." And he was right. About 3 years after high school, all the jocks, all the football players that made fun of me were like,
But
man.
now it's the coolest fucking thing you can do. Like
Yeah,
the kids
thanks
now
to
are
Tiger
like,
Woods.
golf. Yeah.
Yeah, he had to like bang some chick to make golf cool. That's what it was.
He banged a bunch of hookers to
Yeah,
make
he was
it.
like, man, I'm going to use this green jacket money on some hookers.
I don't think it hurt that he was like the winningest golfer ever either.
No.
But hey, man, that right there is just a testament.
But here's what Tiger did. Like, he was that good of an athlete, but like, then at the end of that voicemail, the dumbest part is where he's like, by the way, it's Tiger.
Yeah.
Like, what
You didn't know that.
that. You're so stupid.
Tiger Woods did what Hogan did for wrestling and what Michael Jordan did for basketball. Like, he brought global eyes to a local scene. And
I
that's-
agree to that. I'm not forgiving him for that stupid voicemail. If it's Tiger.
Hey, first of all, if you
What, on the hookers?
That could
voice?
have been anybody. It could have been anybody. But then he's like, by the way, this is Tiger.
in case you were wondering or going to play
He's
this
also
later
the only
for
guy in
press.
America named Tiger. It's like, God, dude.
That's him and Tony. Like, and Tony's a cartoon. He's not gonna.
That's like Craig Gass talks about Gene Simmons calling him because he does a Gene Simmons impersonation. And he's like, Gene Simmons heard about it and he called him and said, hey, I want to come to your show. I need you to do put me plus 5, which is a lot to ask for a comic. Me plus 5. And if you don't mind doing at least 5 to 10 minutes on me, that if you could.
Not Gene.
And he says, this is Gene Simmons. He always started his voicemails off with, this is Gene Simmons from Kiss. Oh, I thought it was from Pet Boys.
Not the guy from Kmart.
Yeah.
This is Gene Simmons from McDonald's. Like, what?
If there's another Gene Simmons out there, you start doing this too.
I don't think.
Say your name wherever you work. That's how you start your phone.
I feel like if you have that name in real life, you go by something else.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah.
what's your middle name? Paul. I'm Paul Simmons.
Paul Simmons.
I've got and I want to play it for y'all. I've got a voicemail from Craig Gass.
Oh yeah.
If y'all don't know who he is, he's a comedian, but he does an impersonation of Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons from Kiss. Let's see if I can play this.
This is awesome.
Hey, David, it's Paul Stanley, and this is Gene Simmons from Kiss. I'm sitting here with your singer Jacob right now, and he told me that it's David Lynam, right? David, all right. If this is the same David Lynam, I hate to break this to you, but you haven't paid your dues to the Kiss Army in over 14 years, okay? You owe me $78. And we can do it very simple. Here's what you do. By the way, the music you just heard was stolen from Kiss. Here's what you do. Go to kissonline.com. I want you to click on my codpiece. Then your face will pop up. It'll say David Lynam is a thieving cocksucker who owes Kiss $78. Okay? Click on that. Make the payment. Don't make me send the lawyers after you. Even worse, I'll make you suck Paul's dick.
Shout out Craig Gass.
So stop telling people that's Craig Gass.
I know, just tell him
Gene
it's
Simmons.
He
Gene and
sent me
Paul.
that a year ago, but didn't tell me. The
Yeah, I didn't
backstory.
preface it with
So
it.
I'm like, what the fuck?
You just been keeping this in your arsenal forever that you got a voicemail from Gene Simmons? Yeah.
That would make me join. What did he say? What did he say? You haven't been paying?
The Kiss Army. You never heard of the Kiss Army? That's their fan club. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to join that and quit paying my dues just so I can get that voicemail.
I don't know about you, but I want a voicemail.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what comes with it?
I love the pause between Gene Simmons and from Kiss. It's like 5 seconds.
Oh yeah, he's
From
got.
Kiss.
Yeah, he can do offstage Paul Stanley, which is the real. It's not the hey everybody who likes to taste of alcohol. It's the offstage Paul Stanley. He talks like this. We were really bombastic back in the day.
I heard a lot of people
Like the
like
New
a
York
lot,
comes out.
a lot of big celebrities said that Michael Jackson's voice off stage was like really deep, like those you talk like that.
And not after I know what you're talking about because actually I have a really cool friend that I've got to work with out in Washington State. When I lived out there, I worked for a radio station, and he worked with Michael Jackson in like the Thriller days.
Yeah.
But he said that once it started to transition, when his skin started lightening up, there was a lot of chemicals in his body, and like his voice went with it. Like it just kept.
So before
Yeah.
it was deeper,
Yeah.
and then it fucked up.
What castration did he do? Chemical castration?
I don't know if any of that's true, David.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the rumor?
But that's
there?
what that is the rumor.
I don't know what
That is
what the drug was, but I know what you're talking about. Like that was I couldn't have done nothing to those boys. It didn't work.
Talking about his piece.
It's a defense.
Like that documentary, I had to stop watching.
I
it,
could.
'cause I'm like,
I didn't try.
I knew, like, with R. Kelly, I was fine. Like, hey, man, I don't need R. Kelly. I believe I can fly, but this song got overplayed. Thanks a lot, Space Jam. But with Michael Jackson, like, there's just a catalog of songs that I'm like, ugh.
I said the same thing. Like, if it came out tomorrow and they're like, no, we know for sure Michael fucked those kids, I would still be like, but this is Thriller. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, like, I'm not gonna turn
Most
off.
people, most people molest kids and never get any hit albums. At least it got us, that gave us fucking Thriller.
That's like James Chappelle's joke about it, where he's like, I mean, even if they did,
It was,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
I mean, it's like I'm not gonna cut off Judgment Day 02 because Chris Benoit's about to win the title.
Dude, did y'all see that documentary, the Vince McMahon one?
I'm in the middle of it right now.
Oh my god!
I've got-
I don't want to ruin it.
I'm episodes 2 or 3 in.
Dude, you got to finish it. I 2 days I binge watched that. My wife was like, "Can we turn?"
My wife
this
hated
shit
it. She
off?"
goes, I care so little. I go, I don't care about wrestling either, honey. This is behind the ring
But
stuff.
dude, that era, that attitude era of wrestling, that was my shit.
Dude, I still cannot
That's-
hear broken glass without waiting to see if somebody's
Right.
about to get stunned into a milk carton or some shit. Like,
A milk carton.
do you not remember the epic fight between him and Booker T that was in the supermarket?
Yeah, I just watched it the
He
other
just
day.
pours it all.
Somebody sent it to me, and I can't remember. You know how they took all those things and made like a meme version
Oh,
of
yeah.
it, but I can't remember what it said. But it was the full grocery store fight.
Yeah.
I've always wondered, like, I was a huge fan of wrestling when I was a kid. And I can't remember the day or the era that I quit watching, but watching this thing with Vince McMahon, I know exactly when I quit watching it. It was when Hulk fell out and didn't come back. It was before he came out as the heel. So that's
Before
when
he-
I
you
quit
went
watching.
to WCW.
You missed
Right.
the best part because that Monday Night War, honestly.
That's when I tuned out, dude. I was out.
Without the Monday Night War, I don't think wrestling still exists today, truthfully, because WCW comes out of left field with giant pockets.
I
and
didn't
get
know-
all this
like
talent.
83 weeks in a row. They said.
Yeah, but I mean, not
Something-
before that started. Before, like, because I was.
You're swimming in deep waters now. You done fucked up.
Let me tell you, look, we got a 3-person canoe right now, and I'm the only one with a paddle. Let me tell you right now, we're about to get on the rapids. So
Put on your boots. Here it goes.
this is where I couldn't help it. I got assigned to certain. Like, you couldn't be a Megadeth and Metallica fan. You had to be one side or the other. And I was a Metallica fan.
fan.
And then I was a WCW fan because I like all of my favorite wrestlers happened to be there at the time. This is before Scott Hall, before Kevin Nash, before Luger makes the jump. So it was like, Ric Flair's out there. Hogan just showed up back as, Hulkamania. And then, like, that was my favorite wrestler at the time, him and the Ultimate Warrior. And Ultimate Warrior turns out to be a crazy person that everybody's like, get rid of that fucking guy. And they did. And then the Outsiders come. And now I'm glued. And I hear people talking about the WWF, but it's all WCW had done the real names thing. Like, this is Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Scott Orton.
Yeah.
They didn't go Terry Bollea, which is weird. I guess Hulk Hogan's too big of a name to change. But they
yeah.
started leaning more into the real people and
Adult
less into
stories.
Right.
Right.
And,
Instead of
but they also had the cruiserweight division, which to me was the most exciting thing because, like, the big guys.
This is gonna be a 3-hour.
No,
fucking
I'm wrapping it up. They had me Goldberg, okay, but the NWO got too big and it got repetitive and redundant, and that's when I started to make the turn, and that's when I got to know Mankind and Undertaker and Stone Cold. And dude, the first time I saw Stone Cold drop a stunner on somebody, I'm like, this motherfucker's Jesus.
see, dude, the different. You can tell the difference in like generations of watching wrestling because, like, for me, my whole childhood was Stone Cold Steve Austin. I did not have.
You got the look.
I did, dude. I did not have a single shirt that wasn't a Stone Cold Steve Austin fucking shirt. Like,
You still got them?
I still have some of them.
Dude,
They're
they
worth
still
money.
fit.
Dude.
Nah, dude, they're fucking ruined. Like,
Oh, they're like tattered flags.
So many
deadliest
deadliest getting
catch.
done in those things. My brother's got his fucking neck yanked down so many times over the years. Dude, I'm telling you, the highlight of my career so far is that Stone Cold Steve Austin has liked a few of my reels. That's the coolest fucking
You
thing
know
in the
what?
world.
If I had a hat, I'd tip it to you right now. That's pretty dope.
Dude, that's the coolest thing that's happened to me. And it's like, he didn't like anytime he likes something that's something other than grandpa. I'm like, he likes me for me.
Yeah. Your wife's giving you shit. She's like, I don't need to take this anymore. Do you see who likes my
Hey,
post?
let me tell you right now, Stone Cold Steve Austin said that was funny.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's an ally.
He commented on it. Even if he comments one laughing emoji, I'm like, fuck yeah.
Dice Clay liked a comment of mine last week, and I'm still.
Oh, that's fucking
I wouldn't
awesome.
even known about it if he hadn't told me about it. I didn't even know that it.
Yeah.
that
I
he-
know every now and then, you know how you can go filter through your comments and like you can pick to see verified people or whatever. I'll just
No,
go
I
do
didn't
that.
know that.
You can. You can go click just the verified and look at, you know, it's like people that matter.
Justin, his social media is
400
very
followers.
easy to follow. It's around 500 people. Dude.
It
It's-
doesn't matter.
Less than. Do not give me that credit yet.
The whole anyway, how we got here the whole time. You brought up the fucking the Chris Benoit thing, and that's the funniest part of that documentary is that they heard he died and put on the whole show like in his memory.
Everybody's
They didn't
like,
know
"Oh
what
my
happened.
oh yeah, they didn't know that
They
he off his whole
no,
family.
Yeah, they didn't know until the next day, and they're like, the WWF celebrated a whole show to Chris Benoit, and he fucking killed his kids and himself.
Talk about a finisher.
I have a bit in my act right now I'm doing about that, but it just doesn't land unless there's a wrestling crowd. Like
Well, yeah.
you have to know a couple of big things.
You,
You
I was
know?
about to say, you have to say, if you're going to do a wrestling joke, it's got to be about somebody huge.
Right.
Every now and then, I'll say one that I think is like, I'll change it up. Like, do I do Hulk Hogan as the guy, or will I say Stone Cold? And like, it matters. It does. It matters which one you pick. Some crowds, you can do it and be like, yeah, that was the right choice.
I've had some great bits I just dropped because they're so niche. I was like, who should I give this to? Because it's not doing me.
But
any
I'll
good.
take that wrestling joke. I don't care.
I know
believe
because
it.
you don't care if it lands or not. I care if stuff lands. You're just like, hey, dude, he'll laugh at his own stuff and be like, and they'll look at the
was
front
for you.
row and they'll just be like, what? What are you talking about? And he's like, it stays in the set, guys. It's hilarious to me.
And then there was cum right on my nostril, and they're just like, "What?"
Oh yeah, man. He'll called up in a show talking about gay sex behind a dumpster, dude, and it's like so abrasive to a crowd that was like, you know,
did
not
what?
even coming there for comedy sometimes. You know,
Dude,
you've seen a family at an open mic eating chicken wings. You're like, oh boy, you're about to get it.
we were gonna do a show. Well, we did a show. We did a show in Savannah that was for it was comedy for a cause. So like all the proceeds went to a charity, and it was like they picked a random charity, just like one that was in the Savannah area that they were good to or whatever. They had absolutely nothing to do with the show. They were just giving the money to them.
Now their name's slapped
So
all over
they
it.
They pick a domestic violence fucking thing. And look, the lady from it is like, so when do I get up and talk? And I'm like, never. You are not starting a comedy show about fucking domestic violence.
Right.
Brown came over, and I didn't like his.
No,
song.
you would have to put that up at the end because sometimes they'll do that. They'll
Yeah, as
have
they're leaving.
an event. They'll have an event about just the saddest shit ever, and they'll get up and talk about it. And they'll be like, "Are y'all ready for some comedy?" And people are like, "No, I was thinking about hanging myself with the closest wire I could find." But
Margaret just got up here and gave a 20-minute disposition on how her husband almost killed her 8 times. Let's bring out the comics.
And then she's checking with all us. She's like, y'all don't have any like domestic violence jokes.
That's
do
90%
you?"
of my material.
It's like, you seen the grandpa videos? He's talking to his wife.
yeah, he's squaring off on his wife, dude.
I know he keeps saying son, but he's talking to her.
That's her name, Sonny.
Shout out to the biggest whore in wrestling.
Oh yeah, dude! I got to meet Sable when. How the fuck do we keep getting back? Here?
Brock
I got to meet
Lesnar's wife.
Sable. He came. She came to Bel Air Mall in Mobile.
Who is this? Y'all got to tell me.
Oh, she's like a
Sable-
Pam Anderson lookalike.
Sable was
A wrestler, though?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
the most controversial female. Like she was like one of the original divas. That
She's
was
the first like
Glow Wrestling? Like,
no. This was all.
is that a
WWE.
wrestling league or am I
That's a
out of pocket?
fucking Netflix thing. Shut up.
Oh, it's not a wrestling league called Glow?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Just think like Flashdance meets roller derby meets female wrestling, and
I
you've
thought
got
it was part of this thing y'all are talking
Like the
about.
lingerie
Dude, I'm
football
unplugged
league?
from wrestling.
Yeah, good.
I
You
am
should.
too, but
I'll
when
pipe
I was
down.
a kid.
Chris,
Yeah.
Chris Benoit took out his family. David turned it off. I can't do it
Yeah.
anymore.
No, dude, I tell people this all the time. There is no coincidence that as soon as I got old enough to realize it was fake, I quit watching it. Like
Yeah, I know. I feel like such an idiot because I watch it now and I remember just screaming in people's faces, "It's not fake.
Me too.
You can't fake a chair hit over that with all the blood." And I thought,
But you know what's crazy is now that they told everybody it's fake, there's still people having that conversation.
no, there's not.
Oh yes,
there
there is,
absolutely is.
buddy.
Probably in this section of the
They
state.
sent me.
Look, there is an iconic image of a black guy with eyes as big as saucers when The Undertaker lost the streak. Like he couldn't believe.
Yeah.
Of course it was scripted that way. And who better to break it than Brock Lesnar, the most dominant force ever in modern wrestling?
I got
so, like,
sent to SummerSlam in Cleveland, and there's
SummerSlam.
people in there our age literally going like, "Ref, turn around!" I'm like, "You're the dumbest person. You're the dumbest." person
Well, then you know what? Something else that documentary told me. I didn't know that the ending was the only thing really picked, and then everything in between they're doing on the fly.
with quality wrestlers, that's true. You can't have green guys in there without a little bit of a match
Yeah,
point.
yeah. They'll go. You know when they go to throw them in the ropes, they're grabbing their shoulder like clothesline, and they just throw them.
Oh, they're talking.
Yeah, there's a lot, like when you have like a Rock and a Stone Cold, they'll literally just be like, "Hey man,
They're
we got
it's
this
improv, really.
It's think of it like a comedy set because they know, okay, I got 22 minutes. We've got 22 minutes in this ring.
Oh, they give them a time slot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you have to
That's why
understand
everybody
that,
used
like,
to hate the Ultimate Warrior because they said he'd come out there so
And
fucking
he'd
pumped
blow
up, he
up.
would blow up and be tired as fuck after 5 minutes.
and when one of your finishes is pressing
I
another
didn't know they
human
said that.
over your head, and you've got to, he would pick him up straight over his head, and then he'd just let him go, and they'd fall behind him. And there's several instances where he drops the guy because he's so gassed he can't get him up. I did not mean to hit the podcast.
Yeah, I knew he was coming because you keep swinging your arms.
If that would have broke, I'd have been like, and that's my time. We'll be at Brickyard later tonight.
it would have been. It's my fault for keeping that chair so far back.
I'm a wild human. I'm barely not feral.
We.
Man, I'm learning stuff about wrestling today, dude. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff like that. Like everybody hated Goldberg because he hurt a lot of people. Like he wasn't apparently that good at like the stunts.
He got better like when he came back finally. Like his last run, he finally got it. Like he was like, "Oh, I have to preserve."
But let's not give him credit for that. I mean, that's 30 fucking years later.
But that was the reason that Goldberg worked. Like my mother, who hated wrestling, got in while Goldberg was hot because she's like, this is the only believable shit, because he wanted it to look more authentic. So he did sling, and he like that epic, that memorable thing where he bashes the window in on the limousine. It took him out of business for like 6 months till he healed up because he like terribly screwed his arm up.
Yeah.
And this is one of those, he wanted it to be believable with no thought of, well, fuck, now I can't work next Monday.
Well,
Dude, the whole reason I started watching this doc was to get to the story where he's crapping on a girl. Doesn't it lead to that?
You mean to ruin it?
I mean, I know there was a news story of him loading out on a chick. So.
Oh, there's a lot, but it doesn't.
it doesn't give you much deep.
They kind of.
Oh, it doesn't. That's what.
So
You get to read a few texts.
according to the dirt sheets, there was an agreement made with Netflix that while they had most carte blanche to do this, the very first opening dialogue with Vince in that very first episode, he kind of talks about, I don't really know what we're going to talk about. And then if you read the little text parts, it's like this part was recorded
the day before.
Yeah.
And
Like-
when it went live, Vince was like, I'm not doing the last interview.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were going to confront him about a lot of it. And he was like, not going to happen.
Damn.
You can't get him, man.
Well, but it also, like, that's the trap. Because if he talks about it at all, if he gives any continuity or validity to it, then her NDA also is collapsed and she can talk about it.
Yeah, and his lawyers told him that.
His lawyer said, Vince, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, Vince is like, he's past all the making live TV mistakes.
Well, he's off TV at all.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not going to do that again. Like, you watch a lot of those interviews back in the day that he did. He's probably, I mean, sure he doesn't regret it, but there's a lot of times where you're like, you probably shouldn't have went and done that.
Well,
Like-
the most epic one was when he drops the N-word to Booker T. Like, that was like, why? Who told him?
I've seen a clip of that.
It just does it. It's like, oh.
It's acting, y'all.
But if you listen to it, like, even though he was smart, every time Vince has a storyline, everybody's like, whoa, what the fuck?
He's in there with Trish Stratus.
It's like the one where he was like, I'm supposed to get Stephanie pregnant. And they're like, No.
Hey, boss, I know I'm not supposed to tell you no, but
incest
that's your
is too
daughter.
far.
Yeah.
Hey, we're real big in the South. We're trying to get more watchers.
Well, that's crazy how they made the stories follow news trends.
Yeah.
Like,
That was smart.
yeah, I didn't know that was going. I'm just a dumb kid, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
But that's what
Same-
makes you. So that's what they call a mark. Like in that business, you're the mark. You're the person. If I can get you to believe this bullshit, you're exactly where I want you
But
to
I
be.
just don't understand how they're still doing it. Like they've came out and said, "Hey, it's all scripted. It's all fake. We're just entertaining."
well, same reason
It's
soap
still
opera.
athletes, whatever. But like the NFL's still going right now because they haven't told everybody it's fake yet.
Yeah, and college football is right there. Like
That's what I'm
it's going to
saying.
get to the point
It's
to where
like
people are going
we're
to
all
start
saying it to each other that we know it's scripted, but they haven't said it yet.
now that they've
The
got
WWE
college.
said it.
This is the college football conundrum. So now they've got the portal and the paycheck. So now it's just basically NFL light.
Exactly.
So now high school football games are going to start getting invaded by the purists. I got to go watch a real game.
I was talking to AJ McCarron yesterday. I was playing golf with him, and he said that they're talking about capping it, which I think is the only smart thing to do.
Well, you have no team loyalty. If I can play 2 games with
Exactly.
you, I can hop in the portal and go to this other team and get more money and more play time. Then where's your loyalty?
My thing is, I think they should get money from like jersey sales, and that should be about it.
And I think the university should get an equal share of like the college football game. I don't think it should be. I think if you're willing to play for that school, you give up your likeness rights for that. And like the school benefits as a whole, like
Yeah.
the athletic department, the equipment, maybe the players get a little bit of something. But I think that's where it got convoluted.
I think I agree. I think they should have. You should only get jersey sales. Like, okay, somebody's buying number 8 from Alabama. It doesn't have his name on it, but we know who the fuck they're buying the number 8 for. They should get a percentage of that, and that's all they should get. That otherwise, they're not going to be working towards the NFL anymore. Why would they? I can play in college for 4 years, make $30 million, and then just retire.
Well, ask the basketball players. How do they make it work? Because you've got just as big a demographic because basketball is huge,
Yeah.
especially March Madness. I mean, I know people that could care less about basketball, but boy, when March Madness comes,
rolls around. Same with baseball in October.
yeah,
When people won't watch baseball all year and watch playoff baseball.
I watch the Super Bowl.
I don't watch NFL football.
I can't watch it
if
regular
I-
season, but I
when
love
I
the
go to a
commercials.
game, I enjoy it. But I don't turn on NFL on TV. I'll watch Bama play.
What do you think about the new coach?
Hot garbage is what he told me earlier.
I mean, do we have enough time for you to go?
No, we don't.
He's like, I almost said war tide the other day.
I put it this way. I just feel like I'm spoiled. Put it this
Yeah,
way.
that era had to end.
It
and,
did.
and I don't think anybody saw it coming. I didn't hear any.
I think he did.
He definitely
I
knew,
think
but he
saw
kept
coming.
it. He kept it close to the vest because I don't think anybody
I
did.
think he saw he couldn't keep up that intensity and like
and his wife too. Wasn't that a big
well
reason?
that ended up being not
True.
yeah.
Okay.
But I think what happened was they like I heard that the university had some talks with him about how he's too hard on the players and stuff like that. And I think in his head he's probably like, if I can't coach, I want to coach. We're not going to win, so.
But he don't need money. I mean, he's
Exactly.
Made,
He's only
made
doing
all
it
the
for
money I'll ever
passion.
need.
He's only doing it for the passion. So.
But I mean, and I don't follow a lot of football stuff. I just happen to know this one. But there was a press conference he did right before. It was about midway through. Was it last season? Was his last season, right?
Season before.
Season. Okay, so it was that season, and he was talking about the portal, and he said this is going to be the death of college football.
Yeah,
And he said I don't see myself coaching beyond that.
I agree with him on it too.
Yeah, because you can't spend all that time visiting players' house for. Because here's how it's been explained to me: NFL coaches coach for the season and they're done. Football coaching, as soon as the season's over, the head coach is visiting houses.
He has
Well,
to.
you're recruiting.
He has
You're
to.
never off as a college football coach. And yes, he's handsomely rewarded, but at his age, like you get to a point where enough is enough. The legacy has to end. I've got my statue. I've got the field named after me.
And you added something else to it. Well, now he's got to go there and talk about money too. On top
yeah,
of it.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Now he's got, and he loses all these players that he spent time recruiting because he didn't give them a starting position because somebody's better.
I
than
think even if they cap it, the people that were like fixing to be there is like, I was fixing to get $20 million. Now I'm getting 50,000.
Went from a Bentley to a Hyundai, but it looks like a Bentley if you squint.
Yeah. Well, you can always just buy the logos, switch them out.
It's a Bentunde.
Well, I'm an Auburn fan, and every week is just like
you're used to
so
disappointment.
unbearable. Yeah. I hope y'all get to feel what it feels like to be a Auburn fan for a little bit.
You're like a wife
I'm
that
married
fakes
to an
orgasms. That's what it's like being an Auburn
My
fan.
brother and my mom are the only two Auburn fans in the family.
I'm married to an Alabama fan that doesn't give a shit about football, so it's tolerable now. But back when we first started dating, it was rough. October.
I became
September,
an Auburn
October.
fan in the weirdest of ways because it wasn't like my family made football unbearable because my dad back in the day, if Alabama lost,
Oh, dude, they're biggest.
you got
crybaby.
your ass beat
My-
for them losing.
My wife is watching an Alabama loss of my wife is just like one of those things where you're like, well, I mean, the night's ruined.
Yeah, dude, and a band. We would never pick to play Tuscaloosa, even through their dynasty. We were like not taking a chance on an Alabama loss on a Saturday.
I've uploaded videos of my wife going nuts during Alabama's losses, and everybody's like, "That is so fake." I was like, "I
wish you were.
yeah, I wish
wish.
it was an
Like,
act.
let me tell you how bad this was. I had to break out boxed wine. Like that's where we were at in the night.
We have box wine anyway. What is it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's not for special occasion losses, dude.
All right, guys, I really appreciate y'all coming. Tell them what y'all got going on.
Dude, we have got show up. We got a website now, which is really just a LinkedIn page, but it's enough to direct people, and it has all the information on everything we're doing. ComedyBreakin.com.
I'll put it in the description. Thank you.
Speaking of which, for you viewers out there, this guy, Mr. Stagner, will be showing up in Millbrook, Alabama, December the 6th
I will.
at Caskenvine to be part of our. He'll be headlining.
I'll link that in the description too.
Hell yeah, man!
I am David Lynam on all social media.
And Jay Dubz comedy, DUBZ, because I'm an idiot.
And I'm Justin Wagner.
He makes a hell of a paint sprayer, I'll tell you that.